Hello and welcome to day 11 of 12 days of business planning. You should be celebrating all the way to the bank right now. 2 more days. If you made it this far through the videos and you actually created your visual business map, I want to acknowledge and celebrate you for taking the time to focus in on your creative business. Nothing is more important than really laying out your vision for what's coming in the new year from the inside out, as we've been talking about all along. It's so important to look at both our mindset, our brilliance, our why, our values, as well as all the external actions that we need to take in our business. And up to now, we've looked at some of the infrastructure. We've also looked at who our ideal clients are. And now it's time to figure out how are we going to make all this happen. So day 11 is talking about sales. And I wanted to show you, this is one that I've been working on and completed. And it's coming together, and I did this a while back, and I realize it's gonna need a little bit of editing, but it's pretty and I love it, and it sits on my desk where I can see it. And I am shifting my focus, like working through this process, working through my own process has been really great because it's allowed me to see where I need to be spending more of my time. What are some of the things that I can let go of in the coming year, and really ask the hard questions of how am I going to get to that bold money goal that I set in day 1 of the business planning process. So today we're talking about sales, and we're talking about numbers, and we're not talking about how to sell. That is something that we teach inside our Creative Business Accelerator program. So once you have all this great information, what do you do with it? And sales is tricky when it comes to our creative mindset. It doesn't always feel juicy and yummy, but I love sales because I feel like getting in front of people gives me the opportunity to, 1, do what I do best, and 2, to show up in gratitude and service to those people. So I have some strong beliefs about sales, and that sales and marketing can be really fun. And so today we're talking about sales. Tomorrow we're going to talk about marketing and how to really focus your marketing in on what it is that you want most. So the emphasis and the point of day 11 is to figure out how many things you need to sell. Okay, so you're going to need your calculator, maybe some sticky notes or a sheet of paper to do some note taking, a little bit of planning. In traditional business planning, this would be called creating your projections. This is sort of forecasting what it is that you need to sell in order to reach your bold money goal. So you're literally going to start with your bold money goal in mind, and then you're going to go back over to day 7 where we talked about your revenue streams, and you're going to make some decisions today about 2 things. You're going to make decisions about pricing, about how much you need to charge for each of the things that you're selling. And you're going to get really clear about how many of them you need to sell in order to reach your bold money goal. And I'm going to give you a very specific example so that you can do the math as well. And don't get freaked out by the numbers or by doing this. This is simple math, okay? And you can do it with a calculator. So grab your smartphone, or if you've got a calculator beside you, or maybe even an old-fashioned adding machine. One of my first jobs when I was in grad school at Stanford was working for an insurance adjuster's office, and I did the bank tally every day to get the checks and deposits ready to go. And I loved that adding machine. There was something really satisfying and fun about punching in the numbers and rolling out a little of the tape, but I'm sure I'm dating myself. We don't get those little numbers rolling out anymore from our iPhones like we used to, but calculators still come in really handy. So grab a calculator, grab a pencil, grab some scratch paper. And what I want you to do is to make just a simple chart. For those of you that love spreadsheets, you could absolutely do this in a spreadsheet. But for most of us, we just need a chart. Now, here's the thing. If you have like 50 revenue streams that you're trying to launch in the coming year, I want you to take a deep breath, pause, and pick 2 or 3 to start with. Now, if you have an Etsy store or an online shop of some kind where you have multiple items for sale, I want you to bunch them into categories. So you might have products versus services, right? You might have note cards versus original art. So you get to break the categories up however you want. But our goal here is to get really clear about how much money we want and or need to make from each of our revenue streams in order to reach our bold money goal. And we're going to do this looking at the 12 months overall. And then I want to talk briefly about making sure that you're being realistic and breaking that up across the 12 months, because especially if you're newer in business, you're not going to make the same amount of money necessarily in January as you might in June after you've done some of the marketing work to bring in more clients. So I'm going to use a quick example here. And so I want you to imagine that your bold money goal for the year is $50,000. And so in this case, I've determined that I didn't even put my art on this one on myself. So I've been seeing some gaps in my own plan as I'm looking through this, but I'm going to use the $50,000 goal for this new line of creative coaching that I'm doing. This is something brand new that I'm going to be offering in 2019 that I've never offered before. And so I'm still figuring it out as I go. And right now I have 3 revenue streams. One of those revenue streams is going to be an online membership program at $100 a month. One of them is going to be online courses, art and creativity related courses. And one is retreats. So those are the 3 revenue models that I decided I'm starting with. And I love looking at this because I've also realized that I've changed my mind since I did this. And this is what happened and why having this plan out in front of us, I'm having microphone issues, having our plan out in front of us is so important, because we do course correct. We change our mind. We sometimes decide that there's a simpler, faster path to cash than maybe that the one we're on. But so imagine that I wanted to start a membership site around creativity, and that I'm going to charge $100. Actually, it was $100 a year for this program. So super low cost membership program. And I want to get 100 people in that program. Well, that would be $10,000 in revenue. So there's 10,000 of my 50,000. I also want to start some online courses, and I wrote down $15,000 from online courses. So there's a few different ways that I could get there. I could sell 15 people into a $1,000 course. I could sell 30 people into a $500 course, right? I could sell 100 people into a much less expensive course. But what I know after 17 years in business is that it takes just as much work to sell a lower cost product or service as it does to sell a higher cost one. In fact, sometimes it takes more time, energy, and sales effort to sell something that's really low cost as opposed to something that's higher cost and has higher perceived value. So take that into consideration as you're thinking about your pricing and your packaging. And then I want to host a retreat next year, and I'd like to make $25,000 from that retreat. So notice, or maybe 2 retreats. So notice that 50% of my income is based off of 1 or 2 annual events. So that might seem a little tricky if it's your first time ever hosting an event. So having hosted lots of events in my life, I'm pretty confident that I can make that happen if I get the timing and the messaging and the marketing right. So one of the revenue streams that's not on here is selling my artwork. I would love to be selling more original artwork in 2019, and I'd love for that to bring in $500 to $1,000 a month. It's not my primary source of income or my whole focus, but it's really fun to sell art, and I'm finding that it's selling pretty easily. So it's something that's missing from this revenue stream. So there's another $12,000 that can get added to what's possible for my bold money goal, which means that I can either shift focus away from some of the other activities, or I can add an additional $12,000 to my bold money goal. I also didn't include one-on-one creative depth coaching on here, which is another thing that I plan to offer in 2019. So you can see how you can start to add things and subtract things. And here's what happens to those of us that are creative and that we have lots of bright, shiny ideas. We want to be able to sell everything, but trying to sell everything can overwhelm your audience and yourself as well, because each revenue stream requires its own marketing plan. And each one gets marketed differently. It's different selling products and services. It's different promoting online courses than it is one-to-one coaching. It's different if you're promoting items in an Etsy store or you're building an e-commerce site on your own website. They take different types of marketing strategies. And the point of this, and we're going to talk a lot more about this tomorrow, is that you can't do it all at once. You can't sell everything all at once. So part of what I want you to think about is how can you stage these things throughout the year so that you make sure that you're consistently adding to your multiple revenue streams, but you're not doing it in a way that overwhelms you. Believe me, I've tried that. Ask my husband. He likes to kill me when I want to add something new really fast, and it requires him doing a lot of the tech background stuff. In fact, we're in the middle of our own first quarter projections and planning right now, and it's so important to think about how can I stage the launch and promotion of these different revenue streams without making myself crazy. So right now, your homework is to make sure that you're really clear about what your revenue streams are and make your best guess. So right now, this is all about guessing. Make your best guess about how much income you can make from each of those revenue streams in order to reach your bold money goal. It's important to start to make these connections. And remember that bold money goal, today may be the day that you need to do a final adjustment to that number. And I told you at the very beginning to maybe write it in pencil or to put it on a sticky note and to really be thoughtful about the numbers. So over the last 11 days, we've looked at your cost of doing business. We've looked at key resources that you might want to add and need additional funding for. Today, we're looking at sales. And when you start to look at how many of something that you would need to sell, you need to ask yourself, is it possible for me to sell that many? Do I have the time, the energy, the bandwidth? Can I produce that many? If it's a product, can I serve that many people? If it's a service? And if those numbers look intimidating and overwhelming, then one of two things needs to happen. You could let go of some of them and shift focus to a higher price product or service to start with and add the lower cost products and services at a later date, or you can raise your prices. And I know that raising prices can feel really tricky, but here's something I want to tell you. It is a normal, natural part of business to raise your prices every single year. You know what it feels like to go to the grocery store and the price went up a little bit, or your favorite donut shop and the donut is 5 cents more than it was the last time you were in there. Or you get your health insurance or your auto and home insurance and the price is a little bit higher than it was last year. This is a normal, natural part of doing business. And so you should be looking at your bold money goal and looking at your pricing and saying, do I need to bump my prices? This is not about doubling them, although sometimes maybe that's necessary. And it's not about trying to scare off your existing clients that are paying you a lower rate. You can bump them up slowly, but it's thinking about new business and new clients coming in. What is the best price point to make sure that it's easy for you to sell with confidence to your community in order to reach your bold money goal? So confidence has a lot to do with pricing, but so do hard numbers, right? Your numbers tell a story. So when you look at how much money you want to make, what's your cost of doing business? How much do you want to get paid? What do you need to invest in to grow your business next year? This will help you determine the right pricing for your products and services. And if you find that you're getting stuck with the pricing piece, this is one of the key modules that we teach inside our Creative Business Accelerator program. And the Creative Business Accelerator is an ongoing membership program designed just for creatives who need support with planning, with pricing, with marketing. It's a ton of fun. I'm going to put a link in the email and in the Facebook group about the program. So the Creative Business Accelerator is only $49 a month right now, but that price is doubling in 2019 because we're actually going to be adding some more live calls and we're going to be doing some more training and connection, because what we love and have the most joy and fun with is the connection with our community of creatives. And right now the group is growing and we've got artists and writers and photographers and videographers and musicians. So we have a beautiful creative collective of people who are coming together to make sure they're getting the planning done consistently. So we support you through your one-page business plan. But then what do you do when you have that plan? You need to turn it into an editorial and promotional calendar. You need to understand how to connect your sales to your marketing and your content marketing strategy in a way that makes sense, but does not lead to overwhelm or burnout, because we are huge fans of showing you how to work smarter, not do more, not throw spaghetti at the wall, but to focus in on the strategies that will matter the most to you. And again, I will be sharing the link in the email. I will also share it on YouTube in the video below. And until the end of the year, we're going to keep it at the $49 a month price. But if you wait until January to sign up, that price is going to double. So if you're interested in learning more, check the link, go look at the sales page. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out. We are here to support creatives in getting from this beautiful, bold vision to the end of the year, making sure that you hit that bold money goal, because that is why we are in business, to make money and make a profit. All right, I'll see you tomorrow for the final day, day 12, where we're going to be talking about marketing. I can't wait. You may not be so excited, but I'm going to get you excited, I promise. So can't wait to hear your successes around sales or any ahas or insights. Go share in the Productivity for Creative Business Owners Facebook group. I'll see you over there. And until tomorrow, have an amazing day. I can't wait to see what you create.